We're live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra, Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM. Also available on myjoyonline.com. We're live in all 16 regions. We're on Jubilee Radio in Keta, A1 Radio in Bogatanga. We're on Gangai FM in Jirapa. We're live on X Spaces. We're on Facebook. The Midday News is supported by Petrol Sol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrol Sol is always a delightful experience. Also brought to you by Duraplus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDP pipes and water tank. We are the only water storage tank with a level indicator, and where Duraplus goes, water flows. This afternoon is a day of glory or rejection as flag bearer of the NPP, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, tables before the National Council the name of the Energy Minister, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, as his choice of running mate for the December 7 polls.
It underscores the kind of person Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is. He's a team player. There are some that he has been able to also convince on why he's settling on Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh. And I think he will be a fantastic running mate.
I'll take you live to the Alisa Hotel, where the Vice President is currently lobbying the steering and the National Executive Committees ahead of the formal meeting with the Council.
So at the end of the day, yes, it's the National Council that's going to make that decision. So that's why we are always very circumspect in discussing as to whether it's a done deal. It's not a done deal.
Mm-hmm. Still in the election headquarters, millions head to the polls to vote in the United Kingdom's general elections. We have updates on that for you. Also this afternoon, more than 900 NIA staff petitioned President Akufo-Addo to dismiss Executive Secretary Professor Kenneth Tefwa over various allegations, including unfair labor practices.
Enough is enough. We can no longer tolerate this administrative style of Professor Tefwa, and we think that it is time for the President, in the interest of the state and in the interest of Ghanaians as a whole, should take the necessary steps and remove Professor Tefwa as Executive Secretary of NIA.
We'll get to hear from the leadership of the workers' opposition. NDC kicks against the Chief Justice's 5 nominees to the Supreme Court as they describe the justification as untenable.
This court has to, there are several cases pending, right? That's why we need more Supreme Court judges.
But the NDC says the decision is reckless and unfortunate.
This request from the Chief Justice is not only a blatant violation of our Constitution, but also a flagrant disregard for the established customs and traditions that guide the nomination of judges to our nation's highest courts.
Their sports.
Member of Parliament for Northern Okujeto Ablakwa is breathing down the neck of Sports Minister Mustafa Yusuf over the 2023 African Games expenditure.
And this Throwback Thursday will take you down memory lane to the 1940s when cinemas in Ghana used to be very active.
1960s.
I used to come here in the 1960s. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and his wife used to come to the cinema often.
That and more in this afternoon's edition of the Midday News. I am Emefa. Apawu, please stay on for details. Many thanks for staying with us. This is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Let's start off from the election headquarters. And your election headquarters is made possible by Petrol Sol, Clean Fuel in full quantity, CIMA, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, CIMA, AICPA and CIMA together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, the German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental, Wellness and Beauty, Chopbox Technologies, a convenient service, Youth Bridge Foundation, Bridging Gaps for Positive Youth Development. And this afternoon, after months of intense speculation and lobbying, NPP flag bearer Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will in the next few hours officially present his choice of running mate to the party's National Council. While in a crucial meeting that could shape the party's prospects in the upcoming December 7 polls, the choice of Dr. Bawumia is expected to be accepted by the council. But it is not a done deal yet, as General Secretary of the party, Justin Kodia-Frimpong, tells my colleague Elton Brobe on the Pulse on the Joy News channel that the name can be rejected.
With the National Council meeting, he will give us a detailed reason as to why he wants Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh.
But is it a normal practice because that a flag bearer will do consultations ahead of a National Council meeting and that's why he disclose his choice of a running mate? The element of surprise is gone because the name is already out there. Yet it is the National Council duty to listen and say that we approve of it.
You see, in our body politics, you cannot keep anything a secret. Whatever we discuss, it will come out. Mm-hmm. And when he went to meet President, were you there? We were all not there. But it came out that he has gone to meet with President. And again, he met with the leadership of parliament. And there are several people that he has engaged. For me, it underscores the kind of person Dr. Maham Bawumia is. He's a team player. And mind you, there are some that he has been able to also convince on why he's settling on Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh. And I think he will be a fantastic running mate.
Because according to your letter of invitation to the groups that are invited to this meeting, you indicated 2 meetings. First, the National Executive Committee, and then after the Council.
So if I to be in 3 phases, it will start with the steering committee, right? And steering committee is a smaller group, about 15 of us, just to inform us. As steering committee, you can't take any decision. But after steering committee, it moves to NEC before it gets to National Council to either approve or disapprove.
You've been a party member for long. Is it the case that, or is there a possibility that the name can be rejected?
Of course. Why not? At the end of the day, it's the National Council that has the power to approve. And that's why I love our flag bearer. He understands politics. He understands what he has to do. He knows that I'm going to make a decision. And that decision will be approved by a different body. So in that case, why don't I involve them? Why don't I consult them to listen to their views, to get their input? You don't want surprises. That's why you need to lobby.
So therefore, if council can take a decision against the choice of the flag bearer, then there's no finality to the name that is already in the public domain.
Oh, yes. So at the end of the day, yes, it's the National Council that's going to make that decision. So that's why we are always very circumspect in discussing as to whether it's a done deal. It's not a done deal.
That's Justin Kuria Frimpong there on the pulse with Elton Brobe. We'll get more from that interview, but we know that the nominee, Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh, before serving as the Energy Minister, was the Education Minister during the implementation of the government's flagship free SHS policy. Well, his nomination is viewed as a strategic move to enhance the party's campaign, leveraging his expertise and leadership. A recent survey indicates that Dr. Prempeh is the favoured choice among the party's grassroots members. Well, let me take you live to the Alisa Hotel, where the series of meetings, the 3 meetings will be happening, and my colleague Samuel Imbura has been monitoring that for us, joins us on the line. Samuel, tell us about the situation ahead of the council meeting.
Yes, I must say everything is set here at the Alisa Hotel for the much anticipated announcement to be made. But at the moment, what I can confirm is that the steering committee meeting is currently underway, and the steering committee of the NPP consists of all elected executives of the party at the national level. There are about 16 of them there, including the flag bearer himself, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. The president, Nana Akufo-Addo, is also part of this meeting, and the chief of staff, as well as the majority leader, Afenya Market, is supposed to be part of this meeting. As we speak now, the general secretary of the party, Justin Frimpong, has just arrived at the venue, and not many people are here yet, but I can say all is set. So after this steering committee meeting, will be followed by the National Executive Committee meeting. So the National Executive Committee meeting will now open up to other party members, the past party national executives, and other key stakeholders or key leadership in the party to be part of it. So after that, the deliberation will move forward to the National Council meeting, where the president, the flag bearer, Napo himself, or Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh, who is being picked as the running mate, to be part of this meeting. And then afterwards, there will be an official announcement in the form of a press conference by the General Secretary, Justin Frimpong. So I must say that the atmosphere is quite calm here while preparations are underway.
Did I miss it, or did you tell me if Dr. Bawumia is already there?
Yes, so the information I do have is that he's part of this steering committee to finalize this decision that he has made on Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh.
Okay, that's my colleague Samuel Imbura there monitoring situations for us at the Alisa Hotel, where we're expecting the steering committee meeting, which is already underway, then the National Executive Committee meeting, then it will be followed by the National Council meeting. You don't want to miss State of Play today. It's only on social media. Much later, 2:30 p.m. They are looking at the love affair between Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh and, of course, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So who are the members that make the council of the party regarded the second highest decision decision-making body after the conference of the party. Well, Elton Brobe joins me in studio. He's a member of our political affairs desk. Let's look at the membership of the council.
So it includes all members, all national officers, as the national chair, general secretary, organizer. It also includes President Akufo-Addo, the vice president himself, the chief of staff, past presidents, past general secretaries, first vice chair, national treasurer, party parliamentary leader, the national organizer, the national youth organizer, regional chairperson or their reps, one representative of the parliamentary group. This is the NEC. Now, when you come to the council, all voting members of NEC, so every member of NEC automatically becomes a member of council. 20 members of parliamentary groups and regional representatives. So this is the composition of the second highest decision-making body of the party.
And they would tell us whether they're accepting the nomination of Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh or not.
Absolutely. But from what Mbira said, the flag bearer has already lobbied every interest group in this composition. So it is the same group that is now going to be put together to accept or reject the nominee.
Okay, well, that's Elton Brobe there giving us updates or giving us the composition of the National Council, and we're following that closely for you here on the Joy News channel on Joy 99.7 FM, also on myjoyonline.com. I'll stay a while longer in the election HQ, and Majority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Marking is warning the Ghanaian political class to listen to the cry of the people to prevent agitations and unrest. Delivering a statement in Parliament, the Majority Leader used a recent Kenyan protest as an example for what the masses will do when they feel their voices are not heard.
The consequences may be dire for our stability. Throughout history, frustrations and disillusionment among the masses, including the youth, have led to significant social and political unrest. The recent Gen Z activism in Kenya serves as a striking warning. To prevent such scenarios in Ghana, it is imperative that the political class collaboratively take proactive and comprehensive measures to address the underlying causes of public discontent. Our preoccupation with political maneuvering should not blind us to the reality of public expectations. Let us all recommit to a national agenda that not only leverages the potential of our youth, but also unlocks the massive development potential often associated with a demographic dividend.
Well, NDC MP for Dododio Nilanti Vanderpoy, who was in the Kenyan Parliament at the time the protest took place, is pushing for their zero tolerance. He says that the people will always react when they are pushed to their zero tolerance level. He also described what happened during the protest.
Mr. Speaker, I have had a very wonderful experience in Nairobi with colleagues from this House. Mr. Speaker, it is not something to be happy about. It's not something to cheer. Sometimes people will do the wrong thing for the right reason. Because when we push people to a level and they reach their zero tolerance level, they definitely will react. Mr. Speaker, let's not be deceived. Everybody wants peace. Everybody will want to go by the right procedure to address issues.
That's the Odododio MP, Nilanti Vanderpoy. Now, the opposition NDC has described as untenable the justification for the 5 more nominees to the Supreme Court by the Chief Justice. Among the recommended judges is Justice Ifiasare Boche, who is currently presiding over the Atoforsen trial, explaining during the adjournment of the ruling on the injunction application in the anti-LGBTQ case to July 17, 2024, Gertrude Tokono emphasized the need for more Supreme Court judges.
This court has to, there are several cases pending, right? That's why we need more Supreme Court judges. Discussion must be placed in context.
It would have been very wonderful to see 3 chambers of the Supreme Court sitting at the same time. One in the old Supreme Court upstairs. And then perhaps
you should build a new Supreme Court building for the nation.
Right.
Or the Minister of Finance should.
That's the Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono in that justification for more Supreme Court judges. While the General Secretary of the NDC, Fifi Kweti, has been holding a press conference, he holds a different view on the nominees.
Dr. KCL Atoforsen. It is interesting to note that this brazen, unsolicited request from the Chief Justice, dated 30th May 2024, was promptly received by President Akufo-Addo on 4th June 2024. Subsequent to that, the Attorney General, who is the chief persecutor of the minority leader in the Court of Justice of Ifia Asari-Botwe, brazenly followed with another letter dated 21st June 2024, expressing support for the Chief Justice's unsolicited and unconstitutional request. With the President, the Chief Justice and the Attorney General in agreement, and in furtherance of the President's grand agenda to pack the courts and annex the judiciary as an extension of the new Patriotic Party, an emergency judicial council meeting was hurriedly convened on 24th June 2024 by the Chief Justice, who is also the chair of the Judicial Council. At the said meeting, the Chief Justice, who on the face of the records initiated the unsolicited request for the additional 5 justices to be appointed to the Supreme Court, presented the Attorney General's letter of 21st June 2024 to make a case to the Council for these appointments. Interestingly, at that meeting, the Chief Justice remained completely silent about her own unconstitutional and self-serving request to the President.
That's a Fifi Kwete there at that press conference, which is currently underway. My colleague Maxwell Agbagba is there for us. What exactly are the demands being made by the NDC, Maxwell?
Well, Emefa, the party is making more than 5 demands. It is demanding the halt of further appointments to the Supreme Court. It is urging adherence to constitutional processes in consultation with the Judicial Council. It is also demanding transparency and accountability. But the General Secretary says the recommendation is a plot and part of what he describes as a grand conspiracy of the President Akufo-Addo government to escape post-regime accountability, and that is why it is backing the court with its loyalists.
It is interesting. It's time to stand up. It is time to speak out. It is time to demand justice. Now, the NDC urgently demands the following actions. 1, an immediate halt of further Supreme Court appointment. We demand that President Akufo-Addo immediately stop any plans to appoint additional judges to the Supreme Court. This reckless action is not just a political maneuver. It is an outrageous assault on our democracy and a betrayal of public trust. Imagine the anger and disbelief as we watch our judiciary being transformed into a puppet of the executive, eroding the very checks and balances that protect our freedom. 2, adherence to constitutional processes. We demand that any future appointment to the Supreme Court must strictly follow the constitutional process, including consultation with the Judicial Council.
Fifi Kwete is the General Secretary of the NDC at that press conference. Now, over 900 employees of the National Education Authority, NIA, have petitioned President Akufo-Addo to dismiss Executive Secretary Professor Kenneth Agyeman Atefua, citing various allegations. The petition accuses Professor Atefua of engaging in unfair labor practices, including unjust treatment of staff and refusal to pay snitch contributions. The staff indicate that these actions have created a hostile work environment and are demanding the President to act within 2 weeks. We'll get to hear from the Divisional Council Chairman of the NIA, Division of the Public Service Workers Union, Francis Bangfudemi Inzugal. First, my colleague Mamiesi Nyameche Thompson has details of your allegations. Mamiesi, let's talk about the allegations they make.
Indeed, Emefa, the union lists various allegations under 5 broad topics. Now, one of them is unfair labor practices. For this, they state that some staff, especially assistant administrative officers, are acting as district registration officers without formal letters. So they haven't written to them to indicate that this is the position that you are informally, which means that they're not going to get, the upgrade of that position to them. And those formally filling these positions resign due to poor conditions of service. According to them, the practice is in contravention of their human resource manual and policy framework for the public service. Also, unfair dismissal of staff. Under this, they named 2 employees dismissed for unfounded offences, including receiving a gift and one for coming to work too early to work. Also, about 5 officers have been interdicted beyond 3 months and subsequently relieved of their duties, which according to the workers goes against their Public Services Human Resource Manual. They're also accusing Professor Atefa of refusing to institute conditions of service for workers since he assumed office in 2017, even withholding salaries of some workers. Now, Mr. Atefa is also being accused of not paying workers' net contributions from January to March 2022. I mean, which he has to, answer for, but we still haven't got him to do that. Now, the allegations continue. He has also failed to post technical directors to about 8 directorates under the NIA, with the exception of the Audit Directorate. And also, the workers claim that he prefers to work alone with the aid of his own recruits, to the detriment of workers who are better qualified and have more experience. Some, they say, have just degrees but are being paid better than master holders and with better experiences. And lastly, he's also being blamed for the lack of innovation at the NIA, where they are not being resourced with logistics to serve clients, especially at the district level.
Thank you very much, Pamiesi. We can hear from the NIA Divisional Council Chairman.
I think the fundamental cause of concern has to do with employee welfare. We have no conditions of service, and we were made to understand that it was work in progress. The Executive Secretary, Professor Tifua, re-echoed that when he taught all the 16 regions of this country. Unfortunately, at the negotiation table, he is not cooperating with us at that level. The union have informally met him at several occasions through the mother union and tried to engage him and let him know how these things can be secured at the executive level. But he's not prepared to help speak up to those matters. When you do this, how do you expect us as staff to look at you, feel completely betrayed, deceived by that conduct? Now we then look backwards at his other conducts towards us, and we have come to the same conclusion that the welfare of the staff is never a priority to the Executive Secretary.
That's Francis Bankfudemi Newzagal. He is the union chairman of the NIA workers. My producers have made contact to the executive secretary, Professor Ajimana Atefa, to respond to these allegations. It's been unsuccessful so far. Let's take a quick break here on the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra. In Kumasi, we are live on Love 99.5 FM, also on myjoyonline.com. The Midday News is supported by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity, by Duraplus Ghana Limited, where Duraplus goes, water flows. We've been looking at the day of glory or rejection as flag bearer of the NPP, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, tables the name of the Energy Minister, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, as his choice of running mate for the December 7 polls. We return from the break with sport, and then we'll take you down memory lane when cinemas in Ghana used to be active.
1960s.
I used to come here in the 1960s. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and his wife used to come to the cinema often.
When budgets are tight and money difficult to come by, you want to be sure you get the best value for your money. These are not times to be spending money fixing expensive engine problems because of cheap fuel and lubricants. Drive to a Petrosol station today and buy your quality fuel and lubricants, and rest assured of fuel that lasts long and lubricants that prevent expensive engine problems. Hear the sound. Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity.
Thanks for staying with us. Let's do sports now.
Thank you very much, Emefa. Now, Member of Parliament for North Tongue, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, is demanding financial accountability from Sports Minister Mustafa Yusuf regarding the expenditure for the 2023 African Games. It's been over a week since Yusuf presented a report on the Games to Parliament without the financial details. Ablakwa is not taking the issue lightly.
I intercepted a document where they were spending $48 million on just operational, so-called operational expenses. We are demanding full accounting of the All Africa Games. We are not going to allow the sports minister to get away with this. We asked the ranking member on the sports committee to file an urgent question. The Honorable Kobi Woyome of South Tongue. He's filed that question. The sports minister is pussyfooting, because under our standing orders, it shouldn't have gone beyond 2 weeks. So
are you saying the sports minister is running away?
Clearly, because I mean, this is the first time a sports minister, any sports minister from any political tradition in a Ghanaian parliament, has presented a report on a tournament without the financials. He just came to waste our time.
Interesting. That's your sport, Emefa.
Thank you very much, Mubarak, for the latest from the world of sports. Let me take you to the Ashanti region now. And basic schools in the Bania Krum community are empty following a shooting incident that claimed the lives of 3 individuals. A few meters from the location of the shooting is the Goddess 1 preparatory school, where only 30 of the over 100 pupils turn up for classes. The Bania Krum DA basic school also has barely empty classes, with few class kids or children occupying desks in the quiet, pressurized environment. There's more.
Yeah, the only issue is about a private school that is closer to where the incident happened. And it is at the primary school. Mainly these children between 4 to especially attending that particular school because of what happened. Because they heard the gunshots and they also saw the flame that was coming from the burning of the motorbikes and the rest. So we went there yesterday in the morning. We pleaded with the proprietor that we should close down the school for 3 days at least, so that we don't know what may happen. So he also agreed with us and he has done that. Estimately there will be more than 100 students, but when we went there yesterday, there were less than 30. Okay. After the incident, we've not kept an eye on any of the police personnel at our community. Yeah, we don't know whether they are still around, of which we don't see them.
That's a resident there interacting with my colleague Clinton Yeboah. Now, the floodwaters which devastated persons who live in flood-prone areas gives the Minister of Works and Housing sleepless nights. According to Kojo Ponkroma, he experiences palpitations anytime it rains, and he hopes money needed by the Hydrological Authority to permanently fix the situation will be released. That money is $6 billion. He's been speaking on PM Express.
What the fund will do is to help rope in some more resources beyond even the seed money that government put in, just about 1.5 million cedis yesterday. Some of our development partners, we've got some of the green funds around the world that are interested in climate resilience.
Apologies for the poor quality of sound there. That interview on PM Express with the Works and Housing Minister Kojo Ponkroma is available on all our social media platforms, and polls have opened across the UK in today's general elections after Rishi Sunak made an 11th hour plea for voters to prevent a socialist majority wrecking Britain. My colleague Manuel Cranting with the BBC has more.
Absolutely make or break, really a seminal time for the voters, over 45 million voters, registered voters across the country, who are going to the polls in over 40,000 polling stations across the UK. And indeed, it's a decision between going with the Conservative Party, which has been in government since 2010, 14-year government that has been in place, and also the Labour Party, which, of course, a number of leading polls have tipped to be ahead and in pole position to actually rake in a resounding victory at the end of the polls today. Well, what we know is that, of course, the UK is quite significant in terms of its relationship to Ghana and, by extension, Ghanaians, because, for instance, we know that the UK is a country with the highest number of Ghanaians per 100,000 of the population. For the immigrant community in the UK, particularly also for Ghanaians. So yes, people are going out, like you just said. The sitting Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has already gone out.
That's my colleague with the BBC now, Manuel Cranting, with updates on the elections underway. Now we step into time and journey back all the way to the 40s and 60s in Ghana, where cinema halls were the heartbeats of entertainment. Jacqueline and Sumaya Boa uncovers the tale of some of these popular old cinemas in Accra.
Back in the 1920s, the Gold Coast, now Ghana, saw the birth of cinema, a dazzling new form of entertainment originally reserved for the upper class. Fast forward to today, the once vibrant movie houses are shadows of their former selves, thanks to the rapid advancement of technology. I embarked on a nostalgic tour of these old cinemas, starting with the iconic Orion Cinema at Kwame Nkrumah Circle. There, I met Mr. Abuaje, an elderly man with a twinkle in his eye. He shared fond memories of his youth spent at Orion.
1960s.
I used to come here in the 1960s. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and his wife used to come to the cinema often, and during those times, this place was very nice and interesting. Hundreds of people used to throng this place. It was the most popular place in Ghana. I was young and energetic then.
Standing filled to the brim, like this place used to be filled up during those times?
Yes. It used to fill to the extent that even people don't get a chance even to enter again.
That's Jacqueline and Sumaya Bua there taking us back into that.
Yes.
Where were you at that time?
I was about to. Have you been to the cinema before?
You asking me.
Well, for me, I have it. So that's why I went back to time to find out how it was like.
Yeah,
I know. But anyways,
quite an experience.
Yes, it was.
Let's talk about what people are talking about on social media.
Well, 4th July is trending. It's America's birthday, so people have been talking about it. Hashtag 4th July, and obviously Chef Smith is still trending after a whole lot of issues. But then this morning, according to the Chefs Association of Ghana, they are saying that he's not a registered member of the Chefs Association. They are just disowning him. They are saying he's not part. They don't know him. So yeah, he's trending, and Dr. Ewan is also trending. You know, yes. So yeah, Dr. Ewan is trending alongside. You know, he put a stunt some time ago. So people are just making this comparison between the both of them, that in history, who has yes.
Jackie, let's head out of here, and that's how we wrap up today's edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. We have Living Word with Pastor Mensa to go up next. How to Grow Your Faith, episode 1. I am Emefa Apawu. Have a